Hello, my name's Tobias Davis, also known as Wilwyn Tobias, and this video is about me completing 250 days of Nofap, also known as abstinence from masturbation. It's actually day 252. I should have made this video yesterday, but I was a little occupied. This is mostly unscripted. I've got a list of topics I'm going to go through, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to make a couple of stutters here and there, but let's get right to the content. I think the first thing you'll want to know is why I've been on this journey. Basically, it starts around about the time I was about 22, 23. I have to go back a little bit. I felt like I wasn't really going anywhere in life. My biggest fear was reaching the age of 30, and I'm 26 now, by the way, and never having accomplished anything. I took a long look at my life, and I didn't like where it was. I'd been 2 years out of a relationship. I'd spent those 2 years trying to, get with a few girls, but I mostly got rejected or friend zoned, and it became pretty obvious that the reason that was because I was trying to fill a hole. And I decided this was just I wasn't going anywhere. And I decided rather than try to base my life on relationships, I would focus on 100% self-development and make something of myself. And this began a journey of me doing things I wouldn't necessarily consider doing. I got into mountaineering, still am, which I considered like something I just couldn't do because I was a bit of a pussy. And I also started reading self-help books, which I was considered kind of pathetic. You'll have to excuse me, I was ignorant. And I had already been doing weightlifting. But I mostly did it for women, so I started doing it for myself. And quit. I took certain things out of my life that I considered were solely for pleasure, sweets, chocolate, fizzy drinks, and whatnot. And that pretty much left two things that I considered vices, which were masturbation and video games. Played a lot of video games. To be quite honest with you, most of my life has been video gaming. And I focused on the mountaineering, the self-help books, and I still had the masturbation and the video games. But basically, when it was sometime during last year, but I basically found out about Nofap and YourBrainOnPorn.com, and I mostly dismissed it. I thought that it was just something. I tried doing it. I didn't really look into it, and I would go for 2 weeks or 1 week, and I thought that I had to do it regularly, otherwise I know my balls would drop off or something. Anyway, last year I went to Germany for 2 weeks, and to date I feel like it's one of my biggest accomplishments. And when I got back, I was in a failing relationship, and it actually broke up 2 days after I came back. And it was at that point that I once again reevaluated my life, and I had to do something extreme to try and move on to a different stage of my life. And instead of dismissing NoFap or not really looking into it, I decided to look into it, and I found that there were guys who had been going for like 90 days, no problem, and I thought, wow, it blew my mind, and I thought, I could do that. And I read these guys who, I didn't have erectile dysfunction, I'll tell you that, but I did have other problems, and I was tired of it, to be honest, and I decided to start my streak. And I didn't really think too much about it. I just thought like I could do it. I'm a pretty stubborn guy. If I decide I want to do something, I'll just go out and do it. And also, I have a tendency to work to extremes, much to people's chagrin. And me going to Germany on my own for 2 weeks was is a big indication of that. And I thought like taking masturbation out of my life, something that a lot of people do and is considered quite normal, was an extreme. And it encouraged me. So anyway, I started Nofap, and you know I liked it to begin with. I mean, I've seen myself as a man against mediocrity. I mean, one of my biggest problems with you know the public in general is there seems to be a lot of mediocreness going around. A lot of people living sedentary lives, and I didn't want anything of that. I wanted to be an individual, but not necessarily a weird one, be a unique one, you know? Um, One of the things I read in the books, the self-help books I had, was about pattern interrupts. Everything we do involves a pattern, especially if we've been doing it for a while. And my pattern, a very self-destructive pattern, was waking up, taking care of myself, going to work, and then coming back and taking care of myself again, and I wouldn't really do anything productive other than work. And excuse me. And pattern interrupts is basically you take something out of your pattern, and it's supposed to deconstruct the whole process in one go. Kind of like a game of Jenga, you take out one block and the rest may fall. And I decided that the masturbation was the thing that needed to be taken out of my pattern, so I removed it effectively. Um, Another thing I had an issue with was what I consider the sex masturbation ratio. I mean, I'm 26, so I could have logically been having sex for the past 10 years, because it's 16 legality here in the UK. Well, the age of consent is. And out of those 10 years, I haven't really been with that many girls. Sexual partners is quite low. And as a result, I've got a very low sex to high masturbation ratio. And I was getting a little sick of it. Quite pathetic, to be honest. Let's call it, I don't know, 1 year of sex versus 9 years of masturbation. And considering I was masturbating while I was having sex, you could say it's 1 to 10. And that's very displeasing, at least in my eyes. And I was very unhappy with it. So, the days that have transgressed. The first couple of weeks was easy, and then I pretty much flatlined, and I knew that libido always comes back from experience. So I didn't do what most people do and try to awaken themselves or make sure things still work. So I got through the flatline quite well. When I came out of it, it was insane. I woke up, I felt different, and when I went to work, I was just flirting all the damn time, and I didn't care whether it led to anything. I was just enjoying the interactions. That's how I am today. What would happen was, if I saw a cute girl, I would not approach her. I would just think, oh, it's not worth the hassle, I'll get rejected, but I'll go home and take care of myself, and that's okay. It was terrible rationalization. And now it's like I see a cute girl and it's like you've got to talk to her, and not to try and get with her, just to have an enjoyable male-female interaction. This is something you end up pursuing when you're on this, because you're not interacting with women on on a computer screen. That's the no porn part. And so yes, basically I came out the flat line, and it was completely different from then on. And I've had a few more flatlines here and there. I've had some nocturnal emissions, the usual stuff. And in terms of women, there's been something, but it never led to anything. I won't go into details. It was about day 50 that I took a look at what I was doing, and I thought, you know what, 90 days is arbitrary. Why not keep going? I mean, why would I personally go back to, surely after 90 days of not taking care of yourself, surely you can go further than that. And one of the things I found out was like there's not that many negative implications, both physically and mentally, in terms of not masturbating. So after 90 days, I just kept going. I felt like I could keep on going maybe for another year. Now I'm on 250 days. My mindset's a little different, but I'll get into that in a bit. Have I had problems? Yes, absolutely. It's not really something that goes away. You just get better at dealing with it. For example, whenever my mind runs and I start thinking about pornographic images, or you know, thinking about sexual stuff with women, as most guys do. I hope this isn't news to you. And I didn't want those. I can't have those thoughts in my head, as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't help me with my goals. It hinders me. So what I do is I do what I consider my power stance, something I adopted, where I clap my hands together like that. I tense all my muscles, focus all my energy around here instead of up here and down there, and then I basically knock myself out of that. This is something to do with reframing, which also comes from self-help books. Um, so yeah, the power stance, that might be something you want to consider if you ever have problems in terms of fantasizing or just generally getting close to relapsing. We all have problems. You you're pretty much inhuman if you don't. I'll put it that way. Or you're flatlining. And um, I've always seen clapping as a powerful tool. There's a very strong scene in Rain Man where Tom Cruise's character is talking to his employees, and he's just clapping, 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 trying to get their attention. And I've always felt like that warrants that. Basically, clapping is a way to knock yourself out of something or knock someone else out of something, get people's attention. It's a pretty powerful action as far as I'm concerned, which is why I implement it in my power stance. Excuse me. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my streak. I mean, I've had a lot of benefits. I'll probably I'll probably list a few benefits in my 90-day post in the comments section, because I'll just end up going on far too long. Future plans. Well, I'm on day 252 right now. As far as I'm concerned, I can make a year and beyond. I'm not going to say that I'll never do it again. I'd like to, but if I live for another 30 years, that's another 10,000 days, which is a long way away. And another thing is, because I haven't been physical with anyone during this time, it makes it that much more difficult, and who the hell knows what my brain ends up making me do. So yeah, that's future plans. And I also managed to quit video games because of this. I thought, if I've managed to get masturbation out of the way, then surely I can get my final vice, video gaming. And I have. I've been video gaming for 50 days free for now, and I might get back into it because I can't completely take everything out of my life, but I need to focus on reading, keyboard practice, and just generally making myself awesome instead of, doing anything that was part of my old life. In terms of the bb.com thread, I'm still going to be hanging around. I'm going to be making videos quite regularly pertaining to certain topics, or just generally talking about people's posts in there. Well, I've got to start making the end of month special. I'm sure there's people watching this that know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll get that underway. Shout outs. I'm not doing any shout outs. There's far too many people in the thread that I can, give shout outs to. I will end up listing a number of people, and there'll be people there who deserve a shout out, and I'll just simply forget them. So you know exactly who you are. You motivate me just as much as I motivate you, and that's, yeah. Motivational message. We all have an incredible power inside us. We have the power to accomplish a lot of things. We have the power to inspire people. I think the power to inspire people is one of the greatest things we could do. Just having a positive effect on someone's life is amazing. And I'm sure you've been inspired by other people and you've felt, empowered as a result. Why not become the person who empowers others? In terms of power, as far as I'm concerned, masturbating is wasting that power. On a sexual basis, you can, have casual sex or friends with benefits. You can jackhammer the shit out of a girl or a guy if that's your thing, and that's powerful. You could be in a long-term relationship, share intimate moments with your significant other, just be completely in the moment. That's powerful. I mean, why not save your... I hate talking about sexual energy because it shows a spiritual side. I'm not really a spiritual guy. I'm an atheist. And I just feel like there's a lot of things we do in this world to waste the power that we have. And as far as I'm concerned, masturbating is one of them. If you're happy doing that, if you're successful doing that, that's absolutely fine. But as far as I'm concerned, it's something that shouldn't be in my life. I've made the decision. I'm not going to force anyone else to make it. But maybe you should try it, or maybe you should stick with it. Don't know what could happen. I mean, as far as... it's unnecessary. You don't need it, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? There's other ways to release your stress. I know there's studies about frequent ejaculation. Some of them have debunked. I don't believe in the whole prostate cancer thing because there are studies to show there are no correlation. But if you're that bothered about frequent ejaculation, maybe you should find someone to have that ejaculation with. That's all I'm saying. That's pretty much it for the motivational message. I'm not going to make this go on for too long. I'm an ordinary guy. I mean, you see me. I'm not swole by any means. I'm not Zizbra. I'm just your average 26-year-old who's trying to better his life, is a bit of a stubborn bastard, and considers doing things that most people won't. But the difference is I'm just willing to do them, and I'm pretty sure that you can too. I may be unique, but I'm not special. Everyone's unique. Therefore, you have the capacity to do the things I have the capacity to do. Anyway, I'm just going to leave you with one quote. It's from something you may recognize. I found this on a YouTube video, and I'm just going to finish on that note, just to inspire. And anyway, to me, being perfect is not about that scoreboard out there. It's not about winning. It's about you and your relationship to yourself, and your family, and your friends. Being perfect is about being able to look your friends in the eye and know that you didn't let them down because you told them the truth. And that truth is that you did everything that you could. There wasn't one more thing you could have done. Can you live in that moment as best as you can, with clear eyes and love in your heart, with joy in your heart? If you can do that, gentlemen, then you're perfect. Anyway, this is Tobias Davis, Man Against Mediocrity, Whirlwind Tobias, whatever you want to call it, and I'll sign out until next time. Take care, guys.